Hi, I'm Shonda Golden and you're watching Shonda's Golden Ticket. Today we'll be chatting with Kevin Quinn, the Executive Director of JTNN, or Join Together Northern Nevada. Kevin, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So can you explain to the audience, what does Join Together Northern Nevada do?
We're a community-based nonprofit organization, and our main goal is to kind of be the go-to for information on drug and alcohol issues. We also collect lots of information and data about the drug problem in the community, and we fund about 10 prevention programs.
Wow, awesome. So I'm going to kind of get right to the meat of it, because everyone knows like the bigs, right? Alcohol, cocaine, methamphetamine, marijuana, LSD. Everybody is aware of the dangers of that. But there's new stuff out there, like for Greg and I, that we don't know what this spice is. It's not a spice in my cupboard, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so what is that?
Well, first of all, the whole title would be like designer drugs. Those are what these, and one of them is called spice. And unfortunately, one of the nicknames of it is synthetic marijuana. I say that because people think it's just marijuana. It's not. It's like a potpourri type of a material sprayed with a chemical, which is a certain specific chemical, that then when the person uses it, they have similar effects to marijuana. But it's a drug that people use, and they get maybe after a long period of use, paranoia.
Okay.
And maybe some self-consciousness, that kind of thing.
Right. Well, the thing about this drug is that it's kind of deceiving in that it comes in this packaging that they can buy, the kids or whoever can purchase online and at local head shops, correct?
It's in the attractive packaging, which makes it, people think it's okay.
Right.
I mean, a parent might see it laying around and say, "Oh, what's that? Oh, it's incense, Mom." And so then it seems like it's not a big deal, because lots of people use incense, and you burn it, it might not even smell that bad.
Right.
One of the other issues with spice and these other designer drugs is these are currently illegal, but all a junior chemist has to do is alter the molecules in it by one molecule, and then it's no longer illegal. And so then it can be sold. There's something like 400 versions of this drug that are actually possible. They're not on the market, of course, but they're possible.
So what is the price point on these?
Online, I just checked with one of my staff who's done this just to see what it's like, and she's telling me she bought like 10 packs for $99 online. Sounds like a screaming deal.
Right.
But the idea, so it's cheap enough for people to get, and of course online you can use a mom or dad's credit card, and they don't even know. And I'm not trying to tell them how to do it. Just the idea is that this is what happens. And then, of course, in certain stores, you will not find this stuff in like CVS or 7-Eleven, that kind of thing, or Safeway. But you find it more of like a non-chain, maybe like people call so-called head shops, that kind of thing.
So what is bath salts? Because it's not something I'm going to find in my tub, correct?
That is correct. And again, it's another unfortunate name because people think of it as being like Epsom salt or some kind of really fancy, nice smelling bath, preparation. They get a Bed Bath and Beyond, but it's actually kind of like a synthetic cocaine. And again, it's not cocaine at all, but it has a similar properties, like a short-acting stimulant drug. That even though spice is bad, I'd say bath salts have more problems associated with them as well. Also addictive. We've been hearing all kinds of terrible stories. Like we get phone calls at our place fairly often. A grandpa called up and said his grandson used it, fairly often, and he had these delusions that spiders were all over his head and he couldn't get rid of them. Or I heard a story about one person who was driving their car on bath salts over to California, and they thought there was someone underneath their car hanging on. It's kind of a paranoid delusion, so that kind of thing.
And those are probably harder to treat.
Right, and when you don't know what it is, and you go, say, to an ER, I heard one ER doc say they're getting an occasional person who comes in on bath salts who has a form of schizophrenia, which is a very severe mental illness that they can't treat because it's not schizophrenia. It's a drug-induced schizophrenia, which is different. So those are the kind of things that make it hard for instance, EMS workers to respond to that kind of thing.
My goodness. So what kind of programs do you offer to families?
Well, first of all, families, when the drug user is in action, are really confused. They don't know what to do, and they feel very helpless. And often they feel like they've done something wrong. So what we've decided in the last year or so, we've developed what we call our parent group at JTNN. And it's not the same thing as Al-Anon or some groups in the community that are self-help. This is a support group for parents with a counselor who comes. They come every week, Thursday nights at 6 p.m. At our office. And parents can come in and they can talk about their issues. No one judges them. No one says, oh my gosh, you're a terrible parent. They can just talk. And their parents can be grown. I talked to a woman last night whose son's 52, having problems. I talked to people whose kids are like 13 or 14 and everything in between. So they just come in, they're welcome. There's about 20 people in there. It's not real structured, but it's just the chance to talk and get lots of support.
Right. And the mayor, Bob Cashell, and his son Pat come and speak there also, correct?
They've done that, and they've been great advocates for this whole situation. Being for a prominent person in the community to make their story known is amazing and phenomenal for us and for the whole issue. And so Mayor Cashell and Pat have been very, very public about this and put a good name and a face on it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to educate us today.
Well,
really
thank you.
appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. You can find out more about Join Together Northern Nevada by checking them out on my Facebook page at Shonda's Golden Ticket. Thank you so much.